So before I was a CRNA, I was of course an ICU nurse because you have to become an ICU nurse to become a CRNA. Before I was an ICU nurse, I was a nurse's aide. And before I was a nurse's aide, I actually was a certified EMT. And I can confidently say from my training as an EMT that EMTs and paramedics undoubtedly are the most under-recognized, underappreciated, under-resourced, and underpaid people in pretty much all of healthcare. We're so incredibly fortunate in the operating room, in the ICU, really in the hospital period, to have lots of other hands available to help, to have lots of equipment, drugs, things like blood banks, things like operating rooms that we can use to save a patient's life. When you're in the field, you may or may not know the patient's medical history. There might be family members who are distracting you from taking good care of the patient. Your own physical safety might be at risk. You might be out there in the elements. And all you have is the rig and one or two people with you to help. My time as an EMT was extremely short-lived. I was still in college at the time, and once I got to study abroad experience in Mexico, I left the firehouse and never came back, so I don't have any good EMT stories for you. But yeah, the way these people are able to perform their jobs in the field, I really think y'all need to unionize, especially here in New York City. Do y'all know how understaffed the ambulances are in New York City? I have a lot of friends who are on EMS here. It is pretty dangerous, actually. So yeah, you guys need to unionize. You guys need to get paid more. And yes, you're correct. As a CRNA, my primary job in the operating room is to prevent the code. I will say this though, codes look very different in the operating room than they do out in the field because a lot of times we're reversing reversible cause. There's definitely a lot more nuance to it. By the way, there's a lot of paramedics out there who go back to nursing school and end up becoming CRNAs for this exact reason. And those people are chef's kiss. The absolute best people you want on your team and the absolute best preceptors, mentors you will ever have.